everyone and a warm welcome. We are here to discuss about NIT prelims paper which was held on 21st of December 2025. This time, the paper consisted only design and drawing based questions. This was beneficial for the students with strong drawing skills, but on the other side, it was challenging for others. To discuss about the paper, we have with us our senior most faculty, Ms. Gauri Pandey. She has done her graduation in textile design and post graduation in accessory design. She will be taking you inside the whole question paper, what kind of solutions were expected, how you performed the paper. So, over to you, Gauri, ma'am. Help you.
I'm, I'm very.
Yes, ma'am. You can carry on.
Thank you, ma'am. So, hello everyone, and ID paper discussion, and I'll share my screen and about it. Discussion and many of you, including me, it was a mixed feeling episode which happened 21st of December. And I had a couple of students telling me right in the beginning of the paper, we hope कि पूरा DAT हो जाए. And some were saying कि GAT ज़्यादा आ जाए. And so, NID is always, they love the factor of unpredictability. And so this time the paper was 100% drawing and design based. There were 6 questions, and the task involved application of skills like creative thinking, जिसके बारे में we'll continue to talk about it. It also involved observation. Most of the questions required that kind of skill, clear observation around you. Then the third was visualization and presentation. How would you visualize and present it on paper? And then editing to explain concepts, drawing, give themes and captions. And this was unique that all the questions required you to write and express yourself. And as a designer, that is one of the key skills that you will be always using. How do you express yourself both in terms of drawing, in making products, and also in writing? So therefore, the question had there were 6 questions, and just to understand your state, like including me, there were many people who were very happy. And so why we were happy? Because the complete focus, there was complete focus on design aptitude. It was all drawing, focus on picking up. And so therefore NID is looking forward to pick up applicants with good observation, problem solving and creative skills. And that is the core of a designer. These 3 things must be a part of their personality. They're groomed and improved upon, but every design aspirants must have these 3 things, and that's what they were looking through these questions in your work. Then ability to think and present quality drawings on given concepts within a limited time frame. 6 questions all required you to draw. They were big frames, you hardly got any small frames, and you were required to present quality work, quality drawings. The concepts required to be presented well and also to be written properly. So overall, I think it was an enjoyable experience for people like me. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but people like me who love the aspect of drawing and presentation. So definitely, it's a good feeling. But on the other hand, some might be thinking, and there is a the other side of this thing. When they was at the score, what would happen is evaluated. And why is that so? Because by the time you come to the last question, you might run out of time, run out of quality ideas, and so you might lose out on marks that way. So therefore, that's also a way of you know uh, evaluating. You really be consistent in your work till the very end. Another is logical reasoning moves to real application in design paper. Now, when we say logical reasoning, it's all GAT. Well, that has great application. If it was a part of thing is now moved on to actually its application. Like you apply your logic and reasoning in answering questions, looking at challenges in real world. So you got a glimpse of what designers do every day. And so therefore logic is applied, but not in terms of GAT, but in terms of drawing. And there was a lot of unpredictability. Like you can predict kind of questions that you will get in GAT, but you cannot really predict the kind of questions you will get in you might have an overall idea that this was a unconventional drawing question, this was a storyboard, okay, but the same exact question is not there. And NID likes this aspect to they continue to make themselves unpredictable in every exam that we see. So it's both. So I would say it's you should not be feeling either good or bad. This first round is a screening round, and so it does not have any weightage. And the paper is also drawing, so meaning that they're looking for people who are actually interested in design and drawing. And if you don't get GAT and you think that's where you lost, actually basically you might not have, because you never know what would have come in GAT. And these six questions, I also believe, and many of other people also think that the marking is not going to be that difficult. And therefore, in a screening test, if you have GAT for a design applicant, I think it's sometimes becomes really difficult. So this paper, whether it was GAT or no GAT, full DAT, does not matter. It's just another way of creating a paper which was yet interesting, challenging, enjoyable. So fear not, round two would be but and even more interesting. So do not think that if there was no GAT, there is some kind of loss. You are at some kind of loss. I really don't think so. Let's move on to the paper discussion. The first one was I'm going to now we have problem with the consistency. We don't exactly know that this was a story, but we believe we are quite near to what they gave you. The story said any part of the country who gave him expensive gifts. Self travel to different places, different parts of the country in a costly and comfortable palanquin to meet them. For procession was going through a village. A man who looked like a simpleton cried, "Stop, stop." He stood in front of the procession and would not let it move on. The Guru was very annoyed. The sudden stop had jolted the palanquin and he had bumped his head. "What do you want, you idiot?" he shouted. For though he was a guru, he had a bad temper. "Talk to me, teach me wisdom," said the simpleton. "What do you want to know?" asked the guru impatiently. "I want to know how to go to heaven," said the man. "Easy," said the guru, "and raise your arms to heaven. In no time at all, you will be there." As the procession moved on, the disciples laughed at the simpleton. The Guru took 12 years to roam around the country and visit all his disciples, and during the visit, the disciples gave him donations and gifts. On the way back, the Guru turned to see whether the simpleton was doing as he was told. He was touched by the man's deep and simple faith. He had a sudden vision in which he saw the man rise to heaven. The Guru got out of the palanquin and said, "My friend, you are truly a good man. You truly are a good man. Let me hold you on your feet. It is you who will take me to heaven." And the disciple watched as the Guru and the idiot rose up to the skies where the gods live. Now, this was possibly the story, and then the question was draw, illustrate three key frames where the story given above, with the story given above, and also write a caption below in 15 to 20 words for each of the frame. This question was of 15 marks. That will be evaluated for you. Number one is interpreting, compiling, and summarizing the story. That's the real what will you choose as the three key frames? What will you choose? Like, because the story had a lot of details. So what would you, and many students, yet I think that in most of the cases, as discussed with my students here, we realize that you have done a good job. We'll see some solutions also. Then the second question is, how will you accommodate all relevant details? How would you show the time span of 12 years? How would you include that the that the guru is moving in the palanquin and the discussion is happening. How do you show that they move to the heavens? How will you do that? And then how will you summarize in 15 to 20 words caption for each frame? The frames were nearly A4 size. They were very thin, when you are drawing these. And in storyboard, camera angles are important. So therefore, this is a mixed question. The second thing which was evaluated was, of course, therefore, drawing presentation and application of perspective, as told you. So we split the story. We tried to put it in a different way for you, taking out what was most important. So frame one ideally should talk about the context and the goal. And the context is, I want to know. So taken out, I want to know how to go to heaven, said the man. Easy, said the guru. Stand where you are and raise your hands to heaven. In no time at all, you will be there. As the procession moved on, the disciples laughed at the simpleton. This could be frame one, where you are showing the context and the goal together. Ideally, in any story, you start with the beginning. The beginning is the context. So, where is the character? What is the character doing? Things like that. But we have very limited frames. There are only three. So, we have to ensure that the first frame also tells us what the story is all about. So the first frame should contain this, and the details would be like show the guru sitting annoyed and answering the simpleton's question. In the background, you can show the disciples laughing, empty vessels because they'll be filled soon, and a village setting. So if we see this, I hope the drawing is clear. So if you see in this case, the details that I mentioned are put together, and the caption could be, a traveling guru was halted by a simpleton asking how to reach heaven. Annoyed, the guru told him to stand still and raise his hands. And you see the village setting, there's some houses behind. This is the fellow, this is the guru, and these are the disciples. Some are sitting, some are laughing. That could be frame one. Now, it could be interpreted in different ways. We have got some solutions where students have, taken it differently. We'll also see those. What would the second frame involve? We're moving to the middle of the story, so we have to show the conflict. Ideally, the guru would not have found the simpleton there because obviously what he told was impossible, and no wise man would do that. So, on his way back, so he finds that conflict. What he said is not happening. That's the key frame of the story. So, on his way back, the guru turned to see whether the simpleton was doing as he was told. He was touched by the man's deep and simple faith. He had a sudden vision in which he saw the man rise to heaven. The guru got out of the palanquin and said, my friend, you are truly good man. Let me hold you on your feet. It is you who will take me to heaven. Now, this is frame two. In this frame, what kind of details this is what the center is. So, how to depict it? The simpleton, you can show him, he grew. In fact, the question also said this, but it said that after 12 years, the simpleton grew a long beard, long nails. That is showing the passage of time. That is showing the passage of time. That is showing the passage of time. And so then the next is show the you can also show the guru. Just give me a minute. You can show the guru a little old. The empty vessels are now covered with gifts. Add more disciples because on his way back he gets more of them. The guru could run towards the simpleton in awe and devotion. He's very surprised and he's thrilled by what is happening in front of his eyes. That could be shown. So the guru is following. The guru is here. Allah standing, and this fellow is rising up. So then, seeing the simpleton after 12 years, the Guru realized he was truly a good man and knew the simpleton would take him to heaven. So he is trying to raise his hands here. Things are left behind. He's above the ground. That's what making the Guru, run towards it. That's the conflict in the story. Would involve the resolution. And the disciple watched as the guru and the idiot rose up to the skies where the gods live. That's the end, a resolution. So basically, the guru and the disciple both find heaven, nirvana. Now, what do you show? show the simpleton and the guru rise to heaven, and the disciple fold their hands and watch. So that would be the resolution to the story. Guru is there, and you can show people behind, on the bottom. The disciples watched in awe as the guru and the simpleton rose up to the skies, to the heaven. So that's third frame. So these three frames are trying to cover these are three key frames which are covering the entire story. Are there other ways also of depicting this? This is not just the one. This is not just the only way. There can be other ways as well. Now, in this representation, we see this is the guru, and so this person is stopping the way to raise his hands. In the second frame, you see he's trying to show the passage of time. So from where he started to where he is with the beard grown, nails grown, the passage of time. And in the third, the guru holds the feet of the uh, simpleton, and they rise to heaven. So that is another way of depicting it. More possibilities. Again, similarly, the frames, in this frame, you see the simpleton is again, asking him questions. And whatever the guru says, he believes it. And then finally, but the guru, he finds, with time, you see that this person has grown a beard. And then finally, the guru also holds the feet and goes away. So, so the first story that we showed you, the first example, the second example, and the third example is different, but they all are fine. You have to try and depict something. So when somebody sees the frame, the examiner sees the frame, they should have an idea that this is you've captured the main aspects of the story. Now, for some people believed the first one was right, their way. Some people believe the second one, and some people could be doing this. And there can be even, there can be other ways of seeing this as well. So, stopping the palanquin and the guru giving directions, and finally, and then he rises to heaven. In a storyboard, sequence, it is important that visual representation must be done in such a way that camera angles are captured. That means good perspective is there. And you're trying to capture maximum details without the need of words. That is when you score more. We move on to question two. In this question was showed a pair of spectacles, but it was drawn a little differently. They said that this is nearly 1 feet, and there is no joinery here, so it cannot move. And the two arms are with no joinery. Draw three meaningful uses of it. This question is a combination of scale and proportion. When the scale and proportion of an object increase, its uses will obviously change, and then fitting in new uses in that situation. The key skills that were evaluated is the principle of scale and proportion. As I told you, what would happen when something goes big in size? The two the glass itself is going to be big, are now much bigger and much thicker. So what can you think about it? Creatively think on new, distinct yet possible uses. You have to think of new uses, definitely, but not trivial, meaning just cannot think of any use. It has to be a possible use. Yes, it can be used like that. It can be creative. It can be anything, but it has to be new yet purposeful. The way you represent, because in any question on drawing, representation is very important. So after your idea, representation is important. So any question, suppose it is 15 marks, half of the marks is for your creativity. The remaining half of the marks in any question is about your presentation, how you have drawn, followed the technique of creating the correct score. And finally, you're also supposed to write down about what you have drawn. That was also evaluated. So you have to write clearly. Draw might not be clear, so your writing must support it. So what should be the approach to this question? The parts and the possible uses. So look at the parts of the new spectacle. It has two pair of big glasses. There is that satin. What is the materials? Plastics. What are the possible uses with this material? Can you think of possible uses with this material? Is this thing resembling with something else? Now, this is the best way to answer unconventional uses. Look at the parts, look at the material, and its resemblance with anything else. Glasses are big. There are two handles running in opposite directions. So, if we further understand this, what are the possibility? It can be used as a working table attachment for a watch repair person or somebody who's working on jewelry. It can be a reading encyclopedia. Can be used for reading encyclopedia in a library. One side can have a light attached and the other on the ground. It can be done on a table. It can be used as a hanger for garments, accessories in a theme store. Could be very interesting. It could be a paint. It could be a paint equipment storage. Whereas suppose if you remove the glass, it can become a paint equipment storage. It can be an interesting stand for a creeper and a climber at the same time. So while one arm is going down, there can be two planters. One has a creeper, so it will go down. One has a climber, it's going to go up. It can be interesting stand. And it can be a creative award for a school event which says young visionary. So it's interesting and different. So these are possible ideas, but if we see in sketches, we have some more. So this is the stand, you know. It can be used as a support for small plants and creepers, as I told you. Again, it can be used to put cups. They can be used to stack cups. That goes up. Can be used by vendors. It can be used as an interesting decor piece. It can be also used as a magnifying glass in a school. Science lab by fixing a convex lens. The lens is already convex. So it can be used in a science lab. In an interesting way, it can teach children. Then it can be used in a spectacle shop because it's an accessory. So ideally, it can be used in a spectacle shop. So you can have your best piece, highlighted, emphasized, with glasses coming here and there. These could be trials. These could be the ones sold. And then, you can have you can have the best pieces here. The most interesting ones could be kept here. So can be used for in a store. Right? Okay, we move on to question 3. Question 3 says 3 facts about solars were given. It provides renewable clean energy which doesn't harm the environment. It is made up of lithium. Lithium is mined from earth, which causes a lot of pollution. Give your understanding based on the given facts in 30 to 40 words. And also give a suitable caption. Then draw 3 posts for social media illustrating your understanding. So basically, what they have given you, you have to put it into your own words and give an interesting caption. If we see this question, what skill? Understanding of context. So the context was about sustainability. It's about green and renewable energy. Then have you looked at solar power? Have you studied about solar power? That means have you studied about current issues and solutions that are related to sustainability? And can you express the same idea in a different way? Whatever is being given, these are points. If you see that information given previously was just points. So what do you make out of it? What is your interpretation? Everybody has a different interpretation. So what is your interpretation? We will see some examples now. And how would you express that in writing? And the second part said posts. So which is nothing but posters. They're just posters only with hashtags. You have to you can still do the drawing, have a heading, but add hashtags and captions. That would create the posts for social media. So we have a solution. So you can call something like this as the green paradox. Another caption could be the unseparatable cost. And a write-up is while solar energy provides clean and renewable alternative to fossil fuels, its sustainability becomes complex due to its dependence on lithium. The environmental advantages of carbon free power, that means green energy, are presently counterbalanced by pollution and economical harm resulting from lithium extraction. So, therefore, they're talking about two things, two opposing things. On one side, we're trying to save Earth, but on the other side, we're just doing, we are depleting it of its resources. So, it says the green paradox or the unseparable cost. Okay, what this is doing to Earth, the cost that we are paying for green energy. There's some examples. So one could be pure power from above, and then we can have a caption saying solar energy is our ticket to a zero emission future. It's endless, clean, and keeps our skies blue. Hashtag renewable energy, hashtag solar power, hashtag clean future. That could be one post. Based on the description that they gave, this could be one of the posts. Another could be drawn something looking like a lithium cell. It doesn't have to be like this. It can be anything. So we will see other examples, but you can draw a lithium cell because they're talking about lithium. And then you can say powered by the earth. Solar energy is our ticket. Okay, so in this case, I've missed out the caption. So in this, you will talk about lithium is a precious, is a rare metal which is extracted from earth and and is available to us. And then you can again hashtag lithium, hashtag rare mineral. You can talk about that. The third one could be this. Progress comes at a cost. That is a third contradictory point that they mentioned. So we can say progress comes at a cost. So it could be clean energy versus raw materials. If we're doing a comparison, because nothing is left now. So raw material, when you extract all that from earth, earth is depleted of its materials and resources. True sustainability means looking at the whole picture. How do we protect the planet while mining the materials needed to save it? Hashtag sustainability, hashtag eco-conscious, hashtag the big picture. You can write anything in hashtag. It's basically a theme that you're giving to your post. Does not matter. So you're trying to make a comparison. Yes, we are getting clean energy, but we're also depleting the earth. That could be the theme. In any composition that you do, poster which is slash the post, it is what you write is extremely important. Other ideas could be, you write the title could be solar power, the future of humans. Solar power is the future of green energy. It is eco-friendly and it doesn't do any pollution. It is good for health too and comfortable to install. So for the first point, you could draw anything like this. So you've covered points like these. It is eco-friendly, does not create any pollution, and it is good for health as well as it can be comfortably installed. So this is for one of the posts could be this. These are ideas for that one post. Others could be, so this post shows how solar power is best way to go and is also environmentally approved. This promotes usage of solar power by users. So basically, the first point is again depicted here. Solar power is the way to go. And this is though drawn here small, but in the frame that's given there, you can always draw it bigger. And that's the same idea. You have a big heading, you have drawing, and you have a hashtag which could be environmentally approved here. This one shows some of the advantages of using solar power, such as it reduces air pollution as well as reduces water wastage. For using solar power, says you reduce a lot on air pollution, and there is also less water wastage because you are depending on this is renewable energy. A similar concept. There is some more ideas. This is an inverted picture. This illustrates the dual effect of solar power. On half there is, you see, first half is happy because it uses solar power. The second half is sad because it is exploiting exploiting and extracting resources from earth. So this reverse side is sad and this side is happy. Another way, same thing. This is showing that extracted from earth, about the lithium cell, extracted from earth to create solar panels, uh, which charges the battery, shows how earth is being hollowed. It's getting depleted, therefore. So this is showing a sad earth here. This can be another way of sketching it. Of course, it would be done in big frames. We showed you a couple of examples in the beginning where the composition was done. This is an example where the composition, these are ideas for the compositions. Third could be also this how earth is melted to make panels, which is charging the battery. So lithium is depleting the earth. So these are ideas, like whatever you see, I'm sure you will also have your own idea. So if you're only trying to evaluate your work, so look at the poster, any good poster composition, any good poster composition will have a drawing, will have a heading, will have a caption. So if you've done that, and if you've added hash, if you've done the rest of the things, then also it's fine. But suppose this half, if it is 15 marks, so 5 marks for each, you might just lose a couple of marks, one or two, if you've not given hashtag. If you have given hashtag, you'll score that also. But the composition is just like creating a poster. So we go to question 4 now. Creative and design thinking and presentation. Students in a school bus often get injured by sudden braking, and it brakes by the bus driver. Since the bus lacks a seat belt, draw the problem. So the to this problem. Now you can have varied approach. So if we look at the evaluation, what the key skills is, number one is empathy. You know, you have to empathize with small children. They are small kids. You cannot teach them a lot, but you can learn simple things. Context, it's a traveling school bus, likely in a bus. And so not going to have assistance, they'll pretty much on their own. So again, something simple needs to be done for them. You have to apply creative thinking, bringing in practical and innovative yet easy solutions. So mixing up empathy and context. Empathy is for the kids, context is the kids are traveling. You have to think of ideas which are practical, innovative, and easy. And then again, drawing, presentation, and writing, which is one of the drawing and presentation is always a part of assessment for a drawing and design paper. And writing, because that's what they have done for each question, you have to write what you are showing. So if you see, if let's just understand. So there are various ways of doing this question. There is no one particular way. But the context is kids are traveling in a school bus, and the idea have to be simple, innovative, and practical. Number one, it could be check what is available. They have bags, they have books, they have jackets, they have handkerchiefs. So books, bags, jackets, and sweaters could be used just just to the next front, and they can put their head, and you can show this in drawing, so they'll be saved. Secondly, they all will carry handkerchiefs. So a handkerchief could be used. They can tie a knot around the window rail, and that can become a temporary handle which they can hold on to. That's also a possibility. This we are trying to do with whatever is available with them. We can also teach them. They can be taught to fold their hands and put in front, uh, holding back. When there is a jerk, hold back, sit tight. They can use their legs, make like a L, and then pack them in that space. So if you see, and it can be also something else. You can think of an interesting product, but which the bus driver is using in place of seat belts. It doesn't matter. The question is open ended. It can be anything. So some solutions could be, each seat has an inflatable part which will reduce the shock. So the back side of a seat is kind of a cushion. So rather than the seat belt, the back side of the cushion can be used, as as a shock absorber. Having a deeper angle of the seat which will prevent from falling in the front. So child will be able to, they will sit in rather than, get out of it because they're going to be stopping here. So that is a possibility of making changes in the seat that can be done. Another one where, a movable rod system, like something is down, it can be raised up. And that can act as a cushion to prevent the children from falling. That is an attachment that somebody has done. The question does not tell you not to do something. It just says that there are no seat belts. So what are other ways of ensuring that the kids stay safe and they are not hurt when there are sudden breaks? There are possibilities, yet they can be more. You can teach them. So one of the ways could be actually hold your feet up and stay steady. You will be able to absorb the shock. You can also sit like an L, legs down like that. So heads here, legs like that. That can be also a possibility. Another way is using their school bags, as I told you. Definitely, they can use school bags, sweaters, because it can definitely help them absorb, help in shock absorption. So these are possibilities. And then you can put a soft sponge on the back of every seat to protect the children. So kids are, pushing themselves back. You can give a helmet of animals or superheroes can be given to children. Because again, the question does not mention that you cannot use anything other than what's there with them. So you can give them a helmet. They can, in an interesting way, they will enjoy sitting comfortably and enjoy the journey because they now have a comfortable back. So these are also possibilities. So the question allows for a lot of creative thinking. And definitely with good presentation, this is one of the most scoring questions for you. Question 5. It's a very simple, it is kind of close to graphical expression. And the question says, draw your hand till your wrist and then combine it with one of the objects given below: hammer, plant, rope, mouse. This was for 12 marks. An entire A4 frame was given. And then they said, give a meaningful message and caption to it. Example, while combining a hand with a bird, you can show freedom. So it's a kind of a metaphorical representation, and so therefore the evaluate, meaning a metaphorical expression. If I move ahead, metaphor and analogy, meaning you are using the hammer is representing strength. Hammer and the hand can represent power. It can represent strength. It can represent creativity because hammer is used to it is used to make things. Then plant and hand can be used to show planet. You have the plant in your hand. If you take control over, if you take care of the plants, you take care of the planet. It can mean revolution. Why revolution? Because once you take care of the plant and take care of the plant by yourself, that's a revolution. It's going to change a lot. It can show friendship. So meaning, because when you plant a tree or when you hold a tree, you take care of the plant, it can represent friendship. So it can be direct, can be indirect. Rope and hand can represent support. It can represent grip. Mouse and hand, it's interesting. Mouse and hand, so they have not specified the mouse. So I'm taking the mouse, the mouse that you use for your laptop. So it can represent click. It can represent play. So in the hands, in the hands of a child, it can represent play. So if you have a mouse in your hand and the mouse has a crown with a modak in the hand, it can represent Ganesha and bless. What you see out of it, ideas. And if you have not, a couple of ideas here to help you through. So this is the way you would draw, or you can draw it like that as well. You can represent similar to this you have done. You're trying to represent. You have the metaphor, which is the hammer, the plant, the rope, or the mouse, and you can think of the theme, and based on the theme, you can have a caption. So it's a simple yet again very scoring question. Like question 1 will take a lot of time, But question 4, I think, question 5 will not take a lot of time. So other ways of doing. So the mouse and the heading could be the hold. The hand represents corporate jobs, and the mouse represents the employees who are unable to escape the hold of a corporate job. They struggle to escape the everyday 9 to 5 loop. So interesting way of doing so. Question 6. Is with simple in make it convenient for the following occasions or user. Provide a quick sketch of your idea. Do not make the entire scene. So you're drawing the new product. A patient at a hospital, a person at or a family dinner, you can think like that. What skills were evaluated? Again, similar to the last question. Context. Context. Last question had the context, but you have to come up with unconventional uses. Here, you have to create a product. So it's kind of a very problem solving question in which you have to look. The context is always created by user in an environment, and the what will same user going to the restaurant, same user in a family on a family dining table. So same you change of environment or the user will change the context. And the second point, you need to consider form follows function. For different uses, you cannot have the same form because different forms support different functions. So second point, making changes in the form because you are trying to use the water bottle, which is yes containing water, but it is used at different places, and so it can be different. Drawing in presentation, drawing has to be in 3D. Definitely 3D isometric would be best. Otherwise, it would be perspective. And then writing and explaining your concept, which is like the same for all the questions. So if we see for a patient at a hospital, physical disability might be a concern. They might not be, hold a big availability and that you have to consider. At a restaurant, if there is a person, the hands are always busy eating. Now they want to take the water in between. So it has to be many activities are going on. Eating and pouring water. Hands might also be dirty because of the oil and the food on the hands. So how would you ensure that the bottle doesn't go dirty? Another thing, the bottle at the hospital might not be it may be reusable. It can be refilled again and again. But at a restaurant, the bottle doesn't need to be reusable. It can be use and throw. It can be one of the things to consider. At a family dining table, you have multiple users. You have kids, you have elderly, you have busy adults moving here and there. And so if you're thinking of a big bottle, it would be required to fill multiple times, or it requires to be big enough so that during the dinner time, nobody has to get up and get the water again and again. Maybe somebody would like to move it around because somebody is sitting at the other end wants water. So what would you ensure? And normally, if you notice, when you pass a jug of water from one end to the other, everybody is very conscious. Somebody, because the hands are again dirty, but it is different. Yeah, there are multiple users. Here, there might be only one user. And this is a refill, might not be a disposable bottle. User in different contexts. Form must follow the function and then the presentation. Three things must come in. So if we look at some solutions there, blinded for drinking water. They might look in a restaurant, there has to be a better grip because if it has to be it also to other, like you will like to somebody the waiter might be carrying a bottle. It can be so if you see from the point of view of the from the hospital from move the bottle again and again, they have to fill the bottle again and again. So there which can be easily cleaned, there could be silicone grip here so the bottle doesn't slip off. And at home, there could be another way, there could be a sipper added. Like you can just hold the water and drink quickly. That can be a way of seeing it. Yes, that's possible because and it shouldn't fall. The base should be stable enough so that doesn't fall. It can be pushed and pulled to open. There are more solutions possible. Like for the hospital, you can have attach a sipper as well. And this bottle can have a long tube where it is easy to drink water through this. Okay. And water needs to be, you need to have beep, alarm telling or something like this, which can light up telling the patient to drink water. For a family get together or on the things, everybody can take out the water. The jug is be another way of seeing it. And yet there are most possibilities. So for a patient, it could handles accommodating for different age groups, extra openings. There can be a straw here. So one opening is here, one opening is here. You can have water from here as well. So it is because they have limited range of movement. Now, in a restaurant, it can be, press down on the cap, you can press the side of a table. So like a tanker, you want to dirty because your hands are already dirty, you don't want to hold together. Later also that be a combination of many bottles and they can be given on the table. Like everybody has their water and everything could be collected by it could be put together. All of these are not here, but you have considered the user and doing your work in three score. So, with overall, I think to draw properly. If you're able to draw and present your ideas, if it is not really very beautifully done, that's also fine. Because ultimately it is your ideas which will get you through this first round. Hopefully this discussion was useful and continue to work because we have other exams coming. The UCID is just round the corner. NIFT is there. And don't forget the NID mains because the real fun of this exam, these exams is actually round 2 for NIFT and NID. So we wish you all the very best and we hope that your preparation times go smoothly. Stay focused and take care everyone. Bye bye.